Hello, this is David Gottfried, and this is my essay, The Transsexual Acid Trip, Part 1. Within the past few years, so-called progressives have added a new provision to their canon and holy dogma. They support, praise, and celebrate transgenderism. I think that people should be treated with respect. Accordingly, I deplore the persecution of transgender people. However, the wholesale acceptance of transgenderism contravenes logic, perception, and the most expansive and malleable definitions of reality. It is as if hordes of psychiatrists, doctors, political activists, and the uninquiring, bastardized so-called liberal media have taken leave of their senses. They seem to have taken some very bad acid spiked with deadly speed. Some people may allege that this essay is simply a manifestation of animus toward the LGBT community, but that is rubbish. I am gay. Now, I cannot embrace and celebrate something that seems to be a disease. While some people might have a brain-body discordance or have a male's mind in a female's body or vice versa, it appears that in many cases, transgenderism, insofar as males are concerned, has been caused by either poisons in the environment, which are emasculating American men, or disturbed mothers who want to castrate their sons. First, I will explore the hypothesis that mothers sometimes deliberately induce transgenderism in their unfortunate sons by dissecting the reality show I Am Jazz, in which a wealthy South Florida family broadcasts their son's transition from male to female. Then, in part 2, by focusing on Caitlyn Jenner, I will explain that transgenderism may be caused by environmental ills. I regret that I do not have much to say regarding female to male transgenderism, but I think that feminists have already explained why it is often a disease. Women are often perceived to be second-class citizens, and some girls, quite understandably, chafe at the constraints and confines traditionally imposed on women, and consequently they may think that they want to be men. I think they want the rights of men, but wanting the rights of men is a very different from wanting to be men. In any event, I will now submit evidence which suggests that male to female transgenderism is sometimes caused by mothers who want to mutilate their sons. In I Am Jazz, we observe Jazz, a boy being transformed into a so-called woman. Before I go any further, I must note that it seems more accurate to contend that he is simply being transformed into a eunuch pumped up on estrogen. The proponents of transgenderism seem to believe that a castrated man saturated with estrogen is the equivalent of a woman. Such a claim is a vile slander against womanhood. And women are a lot more than beings that lack a penis. Women also have the power to give birth and as such have a uterus and ovaries and fallopian tubes. Jazz has none of these anatomical parts. Also, every single cell in Jazz's body is still XY or male, whereas every normal female cell is XX. Every cell in a normal female is XX. Now, in this reality show, we see Jazz interacting with the cast of characters. The cast of characters have made many comments which suggest that transgenderism, at least in Jazz's case, and in others, is caused by women, or more particularly mothers, imposing this on their sons. Let me go into the examples. 1. In an episode in which Jazz and her trans girlfriends go to a prom, the narrator says that seeing Noelle, one of the trans girls, in a prom dress, it will please Noel's mother. And so Noel should look stunning and svelte in her gown, so she will look like a pretty girl and thereby please her mother. Now, Noelle looks miserable and embarrassed. The show pretty much admitted right there and then that transgenderism is a sickness caused by mothers who want to demand their sons. After all, why is Noelle dressing up in a prom dress and looking like a pretty girl to please his mother? 2. When Jazz gets its driver's license, the mother is furious that the sex is listed as male. Jazz does not seem to care. If this sexual transition or mutilation were Jazz's idea, wouldn't Jazz be upset? Why is the mother so upset? 3. Jazz is often depressed and withdrawn. Depression is often anger turned inwards. Is Jazz angry at its mother for castrating it? 4. We are shown film footage of Jazz saying, when she is 2 or 3, that she has a girl's brain in a boy's body. This sounds scripted and staged as she uttered the most common definition and explanation of transsexualism. However, most people, especially 2-year-olds, express thoughts in a more individual and idiosyncratic way. They only start to define things in a conventional way after they have been acculturated to the convention. And who acculturated Jazz to the convention of speaking like that? Also, we would expect a toddler to express things less abstractly. So Jazz would have been more credible if she had said, I have Tinkerbell's brain in a boy's body. It appears that the mother told Jazz to say this and then recorded it for posterity for political purposes. 5. Shortly before surgery to destroy the penis, Jazz proudly talks about her last time urinating standing up. She expresses pleasure at urinating standing up. even though she purports to want to be female. The mother is absolutely irate when Jazz expresses enjoyment about urinating standing up. Why is the mother so angry? 6. Jazz supposedly asked at the age of 2, when will the good fairy change my penis into a vagina? From whom did Jazz learn the term vagina at the age of 2? Jazz was bright, but a high IQ doesn't give one the ability to correctly guess nouns. Was his mother talking to Jazz about vaginas? Why was she talking to Jazz about vaginas? Also, Jazz supposedly thought she would get a vagina from a good fairy. However, the family at issue is one of thoroughly modern, atheistic, deracinated Jews who appear to believe in nothing save the vulgar mouthings of mental midgets on social media and programs like The View. I find it doubtful that her parents used words like fairy. 7. This appears to be a case of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. This syndrome occurs when a parent, usually a mother, succeeds in making a child appear to have an illness and uses that apparent illness to get attention as a mother who has a sick child. For some odd and exhibitionistic reason, the family decided that Jazz's bodily mutation would be viewed in weekly installments by millions of people on television. Since the family is governed by the mother, this decision was made essentially by the mother. Just a cursory examination of this series demonstrates that the father is a feckless weakling and that the mother is the definitive and sole repository of power in the family. 8. Some researchers in Israel have suggested that male-to-female transsexuals are really individuals who are sexually aroused at the thought of being a woman. This condition is called autogynephilia. Jazz arguably is really a boy who is aroused sexually at the thought of being a woman. This proposition is buttressed by Jazz's frequent and excitable remarks to the effect that it wants to have a very pretty vagina. By her hosting of a party denominated a farewell to penis party, and by the febrile exhibitionism that pervades every aspect of that family's life. I should hasten to add that claiming that one's transgenderism is really autogynephilia is not the same thing as contending that transgenderism is instigated by an unsound mother, unless, of course, the mother somehow fostered the boy's autogynephilia. 9. One might wonder why a mother would want to mutilate her son, but history proves that humanity has had a recurrent predilection to wound boys and to deprive them of their virility. I can think of at least 3 examples. A. the castratos of the Catholic Church, or little boys who lost their testicles for the sake of the church choir, who, according to Martha Feldman, in the October 8, 2015 issue of the London Review of Books, had voices which were the audible approximation of a wailing Christ. B. The palace eunuchs of feudal courts. And C. Alexander the Great's sexual companion or lover, and I use the term lover advisedly, had been castrated by at the direction of Alexander the Great. Also, feminists have provided evidence which suggests that some mothers may wish to mutilate their son's manhood. Feminists have been loud and clear. They are mad at men for the oppression of women. Sometimes a victim or an alleged victim has no interest in equality or anything as tepid as a redress of grievances. Rather, they want revenge. A mother filled with rage towards men because of male oppression might find that the easiest and most convenient outlet for her rage is her helpless infant son. As I said, the next part of my essay will consider the possibility that environmental ills are destroying the virility of American men. I thank you for listening. Goodbye. And this again has been David Godfrey. Thank you.